Welcome to the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasons while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian, and this is a little bit of a special edition. We had some viewers reach out to us and let us know some major events that are going on. So I start off with this: with what in the Lone Star State is happening in Texas. So a past Grand Master has been charged. Now, details haven't been made public, but here's what we know. On October 6th, past Grand Master of Texas 2022, Brad Billings posted, I'm going to read this post. My brothers all, I, like many of you, have heard rumors floating around for the past several weeks. Last night, I received alleged charges against me from Grand Master G. Clay Smith, received and accepted. These charges relate to my conduct as Grand Master. To be completely honest, I have anticipated these charges from the moment I stood in defiance of a small group of past Grand Masters and in defense of Rumsey and our Masonic law. We'll talk about Rumsey later. On July 5th, the Grand Master sent all Texas Masons a letter proclaiming that, quote, it is time for all dissensions throughout Masons of Texas to come to an immediate end, close quote. This statement was signed by the Grand Master and all Grand Master's trustees. It is now clear that the Grand Master's statement was nothing more than mere words on a piece of paper. I continue. There seems to be a small group of past Grand Masters who are upset with the excitement of 2022 team brought to Freemasonry. They want to go back to what they know and control. That small group responded with secret charges against Right Worshipful Rumsey, and it appears these charges are stemming from the same source. I will defend myself against these charges, but it seems pretty clear that I am being railroaded just like Right Worshipful Rumsey. Luckily, Masonry taught me to have a deep and abiding faith to the divine providence, and I know it is all for our good somehow. And he closes with, God bless you all, Texas Masons. So as of this morning, October 7th at 8:15, there are over 612 reactions and 310 and counting positive comments in support of past Grand Master Billings. In addition to that, this conversation has bled over to at least 7 other groups that the Old Fashioned Masonic podcast is on, and this has grown some legs. Again, this actually came to us from a female source, so this is all over the place, folks. So to our Texas brothers, I know Jim Rumsey personally. I think he's a good man. I think he's a dedicated Mason, and I think he's very passionate about the craft. From what I understand, so correct me, Texas Masons, in our comment section if we got this wrong, as the installation was about to happen at the last Grand Lodge session, charges were brought up against Right Worshipful Jim Rumsey at the installation. And I'm going to be careful here and not be too crazy, but that, I don't know if that always seems like an appropriate place to bring up charges. I think there's probably a way that you can do that and not maybe humiliate someone. Just my outside opinion. I've seen what past Master Billings has done from afar. From what I understand, he's equally as good of a man and a Mason. And he might even be a little more passionate than Rumsey. So, at times, from a pretty passionate person here, at times that passion scares people. Challenging the norms scare people. There was a few comments from some posts that I thought were interesting. One was, I for one admire and respect your rhetoric, meaning Brad Billings. The future of Masonry will be forever in your debt, as well in the debt of those who you have impacted and inspire. I return back to Masonry because of you. I thought that was very interesting. One photo that kind of keeps coming up on these feeds, it's a photo of Brad Billings standing at a podium somewhere. It looks like it's giving a presentation, and it looks like there's a quote on here that maybe he said in the post. Texas Masons, help me out, but it says, "Be the Mason your grandchildren will join for, not the Mason your grandfather was." So it's kind of interesting. I read this quote, be the Mason your grandchildren will join for. So basically, be progressive, not the Mason your grandfather was. So you have to evolve. Because if you think about it, what we think is cool is probably not what our grandfather thought was cool. And what our grandfather thought was cool, we as his grandchildren probably don't think that's cool. So I think in theory, I agree with that as well. And Masonry has to evolve. A few other comments that I saw on the post. This was a little dark, but it says, quote, "It's going to take a few more funerals for changes to come." So, ouch. So I do suspect there's going to be a large attendance at the 2024 Grand Lodge session, which I understand is between the 18th and 20th of January. Texas Masons, give me a thumbs up and let me know if we're right there. I guess we'll kind of leave you with this. Brothers, as hard as it may be, you can disagree and be united. This seems to be a time for maybe a candid, tiled discussion in January in Texas. I know at times Masons just don't attend Grand Lodge sessions for a variety of reasons. But we're going to leave you with this. If you're a voting delegate, voting member, whatever you refer to it as in your jurisdiction, and you don't go to your Grand Lodge sessions, shame on you. You're responsible for who's elected. You're responsible for who represents your state's brand. So also, even if you're not a voting member, if you want a pulse of what's going on in your Grand Lodge jurisdiction, go there. Talk to some of the elected guys. Even if you don't have a vote, you have a say and you have an opinion. And sometimes when you sit at home behind a keyboard, that's not an opinion. Sometimes you need to put your face in front of another brother. So let us know what we missed. This is seems to be evolving. It's a big deal. Past Grand Master of Billings had a massive following. Again, when that stuff crosses into other jurisdictions, the positivity and what's going on. We don't have a dog in the hunt on the charges. We don't know. We've not seen the charges yet, so we don't know if they're false, if they're accurate. So we're not taking that stance, but it's a big thing. Also, let us know in the comment section. Did we get something wrong? Did we miss something? Is there something we need to address? We're not scared to talk about this. Again, this has gone outside of what I would call in the house. This is spreading like wildfire. So let us know what we missed. But here's the one thing we do support. We support the trowel in Masonry. So make sure that you're keeping everything in due bounds, folks. Thanks.